Oh, yeah. And now, from North Platte High School Studio B, welcome to Bulldog Banter, where student stakeholders and alumni come together to traverse the transformative power of education. This week's episode sponsored by the North Platte Public Schools Foundation and the Flower Market.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bulldog Banter. I'm Maddie Hildebrand.
I'm Reagan Lampy.
And this is the podcast where we talk about all things North Platte.
And do fun stuff.
Today, we're here with Chris Gorman,
Senior Vice President of Hurrdat.
Woo!
Yay!
Thank you so much for coming on, Chris. He has been here at the high school talking to all of the media classes about what he does at Hurrdat, how he's gotten into it, and just everything we want to know.
Yeah.
So, and he is an alumni. He did graduate from North Platte High School. So, do you want to talk about your experience at here a little bit?
Yeah, this is amazing. This is my first opportunity, really exploring the high school. Much improved since I was here in 97 to 2001. This is amazing. And I talked to a lot of you guys and mentioned just how incredible everything is. The access, the availability you have to equipment, the support staff you hear. This is really cool. But yeah, so I went here from 97 to 2001, which seems both forever ago and then also just kind of yesterday. I'll tell all of you guys and all you kids in here, it goes by really quick. One moment you're here and you're having fun with your friends and going to scooters and all that, and then the next minute you're 40. I still feel I'm young and hip and cool, and I know that I'm not, but I still feel like it. But I owe a lot to this school. I owe a lot to public schools. This was a really transformative and important part of my life where you make some of your best friends, you decide what you kind of want to do with the rest of your life. And this school was pretty paramount to that. And there was a few teachers that I, really enjoyed and really nurtured a lot of creativity and play. Brett Bradley, he really let us do some cool stuff in band. There were Skip Altig, was so crucial to me finding confidence. Cause I was a nerdy adult, but I was a really nerdy, dorky kid. And had some confidence issues, especially public speaking and talking to adults and trying to communicate ideas. And through the speech and debate program here at North Platte, I was able to get over some of those. And we had some good success in our speech and debate. And so there's so many lessons that I'm using today in my business world that came from right here on this ground, not these big, beautiful halls that we have here, but kind of the old castle-y, North Platte High School. So I really loved my experience here. It's a big enough community where there's a lot of support and there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's a small enough community where you really know each other and get to know, your neighbors, the community, the people that own businesses, people that can help and support you. So I am thoroughly a big fan and supporter of all things North Platte.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you want to tell us what activities you were involved in and how they helped you get to your career now?
Okay, so you guys all know this. When you grow up in North Platte, there's definitely entertainment here. There's the community playhouse. There's concerts out at the fairgrounds. There's a lot of stuff to do around here. Major entertainment, the big shows, a lot of times they're driving through North Platte, either Denver, Lincoln, Omaha. And, we were always kind of trained when we were growing up that you had to travel for entertainment. A lot of me and my friends, we were really into music and we were really into band. And, I'd shout out to Brett Bradley, who really encouraged that. And I don't think a lot of us really would have picked up instruments and been excited about it if it wasn't for him. So we started putting on concerts here, and they were $5 concerts. It was us and a bunch of other terrible bands, a lot of punk rock, and we played wherever we could. It was church basements. It was a coffee shop right over here. It was a lot of really cool parents, business owners that allowed us to play in their venues against maybe their better judgment. But we really grew a community, and we created our own entertainment here. Those shows really set the stage for what I do today, because a lot of it, it's event management. It's putting on world-class experiences for folks, and a lot of the same skills is hey, organizing, managing budgets, finding entertainment, making sure entertainment's happy. The story I always tell is we started booking bands from out of town that were coming into town, And we kept getting like bands that they're probably too big to play in North Platte, but we got a little bit of a reputation, mostly because of our ignorance. So like when bands like come to town, they have this thing called a rider that they send, and it's basically everything that they want. Like the famous ones are like Elton John has to have a hotel room that's set at a very specific degree, specifically for his sunglasses. Foo Fighters, they had a coloring book that they had to venue owners had to fill out like before they would like come there, and it like talked about like the good things to eat. And there's crazy things like, you know, we want 10 pairs of Nike shoes, we want these socks, like all this stuff, we want hotel rooms for all this stuff. We would get these riders, and we didn't know any better. We thought you had to do those things. We didn't know that a lot of these bands weren't getting any of that stuff anywhere else they were playing. So like North Platte, Kearney, like bands started recognizing that we treat bands really well. Kids came out early, they bought a ton of merch, they had a really good time, and like that got around that people wanted to play in North Platte. So we like started booking like some like pretty cool bands. So we created our little micro entertainment a universe here in North Platte where we were bringing in bands, like, and we were putting on bands, and we were helping like other bands like help them grow. And it's exactly what I'm doing today. Like we own like 2 bar restaurants up in Omaha, and that's what we're doing. It's just on a different scale. But a lot of those lessons were learned here, and it's just trial and error. Like back then there wasn't the internet where you'd be like, hey, how do I put on a show? Like we were just trying to figure it out and make good decisions. And luckily we had a ton of support, like from our parents, from the school, business owners, all that like took a chance on letting us do this stuff. But yeah, things we learned right in these halls on this ground really helped me out today. Problem solving, communicating, dealing with, personalities, and trying to like manage all of that chaos so you can put on like a really good event or a really good show or run a really good business.
I feel like you've lived a lot of lives.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Also, I have to know which instrument did you play?
Okay, so I started playing. This is gonna be bad. Okay, so I started playing tuba just because I thought it was funny, and then I realized I couldn't read music. So I started playing drums because I thought it sounded more fun, and I'm like, oh, I can kind of like figure this out without actually having to read the music. So I never knew how to read music. I currently do not know how to read music, but I was big bass drum in marching band, and like. I was one of the only Gorman boys, me and my 2 brothers, to like make it on the football field. It was just during halftime with my big bass drum.
I can see you playing the drums. That's what I was going to guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how has NPHS changed since you were a student? Like, obviously, you said pretty much all the stuff that we get to do, but like, what else?
From what you've seen.
Yeah, I guess you haven't.
So when I went here, we were on like our last legs of like that building. And if like I encourage anybody, I get weird like on Wikipedia where I like try to find like just like cool historical things. Like if you go back and look at the architecture and how like, have you guys seen it? Like, do you know what the old building looks like?
Not a clue.
I put a picture of it in like my project for my speech class because I was like, it was an outline that I was doing, but I saw it for the first time when I was doing that.
Yeah.
All I know is that the school was where the parking lot was, and like where we have our parking lot, that's where the old school was.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was like
it was right up against the street.
It was like flip-flop. So then the parking lot was where the school is, and it wasn't really a parking lot, it was just like gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I know. I just haven't actually seen it.
So obviously like the new building. Oh yeah, there it is. Like this thing was gorgeous.
That's what it
that
looked
was
like?
the old school.
It looks like Harry Potter.
It really does.
Yeah. Like I think it was the longest hallway in the state. Like it was kind of a nightmare. Like if you had a science class and then you had like a math class, like, and you had, I don't know, whatever, like 3-4 minutes to like get across the school.
3?
Yeah. It was like nearly impossible. But like, it was a gorgeous building. It just, it was past its time. So like, I think we were one of, I don't know, when did the new school get built?
2003?
2003?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what someone just said.
So yeah, we were like 2001. Yeah, we were the last throes of that building, and it's super fortunate that we're able to like be in there. Like it was just like you look back at the time, you're just like, all right, you know, this is my high school, and like this is where I go to. But you look back at like some of these like photos, like especially from when it was like originally being built, like it seriously it looked like a castle. But like so obviously like the building's changed. Like walking around, seeing the support and the access that you guys have to stuff is like so cool. Like just seeing a bunch of like Canon cameras like lined up, like ready to go. like that's an amazing thing. And to have like teachers like Willie being able to like really understand like what you guys are doing, I think is really cool. So what I've seen, like it seems like there's been some like pretty significant investments into what like this school is supposed to be. And like, yeah, I'm a huge believer in public schools. Like I'm a product of public schools. My parents were teachers. My brothers went through public schools. I just think it's so important that like these get funded and that kids continue to come here and like thrive and do really cool stuff here, because you can do it through public school, and you guys are like a living testament to that. So like things that have changed, like it's cool. There's like still some teachers here that were really inspirational to me. Like Vicky Carlson, like she was one of my first English teachers, and she was transformative in like my ability to like understand, read, write, be creative. And she really poured a ton into me about like, hey, you can do this stuff. Like, and that's kind of the message that I'm giving to you guys. It's like, you don't have to be afraid to like tell your story and get creative and like make mistakes. And it was one of her first years that she was teaching. And I feel so lucky that like she was available and like so enthusiastic about what we were doing. So it's cool to see like here, like whatever, like I don't know, so many years later, that some of them are like still here and still making an impact, like in the school and the community. But this place is like, I'd love to go like tomorrow. I can't wait to see like, okay, the basketball court. Like when we were doing, like we had basketball games in there, but it also doubled as like everything else. Like it was the auditorium, like we had a ton of stuff in there, and like, it was like really historic and cool. But like to see what you guys did with your basketball digital display, like for your show, like that's amazing. And the fact that you guys were first in the state, like you'd expect that on paper, like, oh, that's an Omaha school, or that's a Lincoln school, or like that's a whatever school. Like nobody expects that from North Platte. And I think that's like kind of the message here. It's like, hey, we can do cool stuff out here. We can have the first in the state for this like show on the basketball court. Like we can do all this stuff out here, and we don't need to be in the major metro area to do it. Like we have enough people, we have enough talent here. But yeah, and the town is growing. Like my mom still lives here. I love coming back and like seeing how like it's expanding, it's growing. You guys are getting like cool stuff. You're getting cool restaurants. Like I worked at Record Town in the mall, so it's a little sad to see like the malls going away. But yeah, this whole town is like, I just think it's growing in like a really cool way. And especially with like you young folks that like really understands like, hey, we're living in it. We're here, and we're going to make the best out of it for our time here, whether we stay here forever, if we go to college, do whatever, like we're going to put our arms around this community and we're going to love it.
Yeah, I feel like we're looked down a lot of times by like the Omaha schools, but I love it here. And
Me too.
Even
We're very lucky.
Yeah, even though some of our sports aren't always the greatest, like we have so many opportunities, and like Willie literally always tells us like no other Omaha schools is doing this. Like there's so many things that we get to do that no other schools are getting doing. So.
And we have amazing funding from like our foundation
Yeah.
and our booster club, and our principals support us, like our staff supports us. Like we're very, very lucky.
Yeah, and we always have like cool alumni that we're able to like have come back
like
on
you.
this too. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and
think
shout
you're
out Flower
cool.
Shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we seriously, every time we're back for Christmas, like that's the first place that we go to. Like our flower market, like it's the first place we go to, because they do such a good job of like stocking like new and cool items that I wasn't even like thinking about. And like we don't see that stuff in Lincoln. Like it's fun to have like that local kind of mom and pop shop. And we love the cat too. Like the cat's still around, right?
The cat?
The cat? There's multiple cats now? Oh, we just ruined this podcast.
Wait, is there one with only one eye?
Yeah, that's
That one's my favorite. I love that one.
And his name's Bullseye?
Yeah, and he only has one eye.
One-eye cat named Bullseye.
Yes.
That's amazing.
He's so cute.
Christmas time, we can't wait to see Bullseye. But like that's like kind of the charm of the city. Like A to Z Books, like we spent a ton of time in there. Like they always support local artists. Like my brother Patrick, like he wrote a book and he did a signing there, and like we had people show up there and like buy his book and support him. And that's what North Platte does. Is like North Platte, we support each other around here, and that's like the cool part of this community.
Yes, I totally agree. Love North Platte.
Me too.
So we have talked a lot about Hurrdat today, but for the people that don't know, do you want to give like an overview of the spider web and what you all do, how it all happened and everything?
Yeah. So Hurrdat at its core is a media marketing entertainment agency. We have our digital agency, which handles website, SEO, AI, crypto, like future tech type stuff. We have our media / entertainment division, which, you know, we have a ton of Bravo celebrities is the term that is widely accepted. We have our Hurrdat One network, so Hurrdat One, ONE, Omaha, Nebraska. That's focused on local podcasters and local content, whether it's say like food from Dan Hoppen, who's like the Mount Rushmore of like foodies in Omaha, or you know, our Costco podcast from like Josh and Lindsay, the membership exclusive. They have this great podcast where they're talking about local things that are at Costco. We have our sports division, which is we're covering everything from preps to pros. So North Platte gets mentioned in there quite a bit. Kearney, Lincoln, Omaha, anybody like high school sports, folks that are doing stuff inside the state are doing some really cool stuff there and putting out really cool content that we're able to see like this morning. You know, Mike Sauter, you know, we talked about one of our football players here at North Platte High that was interviewed by him last year. And like, that's really cool because sometimes it's really easy to like stay in your bubble of like, hey, I'm just staying in like this bubble of like my Omaha sports. But the fact that, you know, he's talking to North Platte kids and Scottsbluff kids and McCook, like, there's a whole other part of the state in the West that there's some really cool stuff going on. And so from NEB Preps, we cover that. Recently, we just started Hurrdat Brand Goods, which is an apparel company. So anything from like, I mean, I'm head to toe in Hurrdat stuff every day. I'm really lucky that I get to wear like cool stuff that's all branded. So we do apparel promotions, really anything like printable. And we have these 4 incredible gentlemen that run that whole division for us. We have 2 sports bars, Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, one in La Vista, one out in Gretna. The one in La Vista has this whole venue stage area where we do the morning show with Robbie Lula and Damon Benning every weekday morning for 3 hours. It's the best sports show in the state by far. Nobody has like the type of connections and the type of insight that those guys have. And then like all of our sports content, which is led by like our incredible director, Sasha Durkin, who like just is the captain of that ship and understands media and sports in a way that I've never seen anybody else understand it. And it's really paid dividends for us as far as like how we cover stuff. The amount of times that we get these like thank yous and like, hey, nobody else was covering this and you guys covered this is really important to us because it's really easy to go after the low hanging fruit of like sports coverage. She's always really finding these stories and these subjects that are like kind of like in between the lines and stuff that's like really cool and like stuff that Apple does a really good job of this. Apple, like, for their phones and like everything that they create, they're anticipating needs. They aren't trying to meet the market. They're trying to set the market and set the standard. And through that sports division, like we're trying to do that same thing. And we do an incredible amount of work with the Omaha Supernovas and like can't wait for like our season coming up because it's just like everything is coalescing into this like really cool moment that we're going to have here in our 3rd season. So, all right, Brand Goods, 1. We have a PR division. So we just acquired Lucas Partners, which, I mean, they've been named PR Agency of the Year for the last like 20 years, led by Joan Lucas. So she's now part of our company. And so now we have PR that we're able to add on that. So that's kind of the spider web. You know, it's very like hub and spoke. So if you think about like a bike tire, like, hey, Hurrdat's in the middle and all of this stuff goes around it. But it's all part of the same organization, built to support each other. And we're about 200 employees, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It's a lot.
Okay, so you mentioned Supernovas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Jason Derulo?
I know him. I don't know if he knows me.
Oh.
But yeah, he was instrumental in like, I mean, he's an owner of the team.
Yeah.
We have Jason Derulo, like Supernovas hats. He's such a good dude that like he always wanted to make sure that the focus was on the team, was on the players, and like he never really wanted to be a distraction. But like so for our championship in the first year, like he rolled in like and couldn't have been nicer, couldn't have been cooler, gave a pep talk to the team. And we have like one of the most amazing shots that like I've ever seen, like that we've captured. And like we're in the locker room Jason Derulo's in there, like we're celebrating, and we have this like for your production folks and like camera operators, like we have this like 240 frames a second video of champagne flying everywhere after the game that we put to like "We Are the Champions" by Queen, and it's like one of my favorite videos that I think about all the time. But like, and he's like in the middle of it, just hyping everybody up. He's one of the most gracious guys like I've ever met. He's super cool. Like his whole team is amazing, and like to have his support, like, and so like him and Danny White, I mean, they put this whole thing together, like at the beginning of it. And like this whole thing doesn't happen without like Jason and Danny, like doing this whole thing. So, I've met him. I don't know if he remembers me, but he's an incredible human and like, such a proponent for women's sports, which right now, like we're in the golden age, or at least like coming up on the golden age of women's sports, and finally getting like the recognition that women's sports deserves. Because a lot of, I mean, for the last like really forever, like always been playing second fiddle. Like if anybody has a chance to go to a WNBA game, they're amazing. Like they have, like we went to one in Vegas and they have fire coming out of like the backboards. They have a live DJ that's playing during the entire game. Like they play hype songs while they're on offense, and they like play these kind of like Raz songs like while they're on defense. Like it's one of the most amazing experiences. And like I don't think people really know like how fun these games are.
Yeah, no, I had no clue.
Yeah,
I would have never thought that they would be like
Yeah.
that entertaining.
They're so fun.
I'll have to go to one. So, how did you get into Hurrdat? Like, how did you get a part of it?
Okay. So, after college, like I was big into like just kind of like music production and all that. After I graduated college from UNK, I immediately left to go out to, New York, to join a band on tour. I was their tour manager for I don't know, like 2-3 months. And it was just a band that came through Nebraska and it was like, hey, we like the way you do business. We'd love you to like manage our tour. So I'm like, rad, cool, let's do it. So flew out to New York, ended up doing that tour with them. This is right when Hurricane Katrina hit. So like this doesn't like sound that crazy anymore, like when I tell the story, but like gas was like $5 a gallon. And at the time, like every dollar we made was going into our gas tank. And so the only way that we were able to like basically stay on the tours, like word of mouth, like people knowing that we were going there, and also really savvy social media management. And at the time, it was MySpace. I don't think any of you like even know what MySpace is.
Well, I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
MySpace was the precursor to like Facebook. It was really cool. It was very music based. You had a top 8. You basically had to rank your friends and like put them in your like top 8, and they would sit on your profile. It was a big deal. Like if somebody fell out of your top 8, like yeah, he knows. Like if somebody fell out of your top 8, it was a big deal. It's like, hey, we're no longer friends, or like something bad happened. Or if somebody like shot up, you're like, oh, like something happened there. Like they might be a thing going on there. So like we were really good on MySpace. We were really good at connecting with fans as we were going through that tour. We ended the tour and I was kind of jobless. I didn't really know when we were going back on tour. Like I wasn't like, you're either on tour and making money, or you're not on tour and you're not making money. So I ended up moving back to Lincoln. I was just couch surfing for a while, like hanging out with friends. And I'm like, better probably get a job. And so I ended up working for Nelnet, which is a Nebraska-based company. They're awesome. They do student loans. And I was there for about a decade. And it's a great company. It just wasn't what I wanted to do long term. And I love social media so much. Like it was really like early days of like figuring this out. And I just kept hearing about this company called Hurrdat. And it was a couple like former Husker football players, Adi Kanolik, Blake Lawrence. They had this brilliant idea in their dorm room that like, hey, people are going to need help managing their social media, whether it's brands, whether it's athletes, whoever it is. I mean, Prince Amukamara was like their first client. And like, now you look at it and it's like, of course, like you need social media management. But back in the day, what they were doing was magic. Nobody understood like what it was and how to do it and how to manipulate it. So they came up with this brilliant idea for the social media management company. And then also like they took this huge risk on NIL. They knew NIL was going to be a big deal at some point. So like college players being able to get paid for their name, image, likeness. And so they made this enormous bet that, hey, NIL is going to be a big deal at some point whenever the legislation changes. And like, there are going to need to be people that understand this and can help manage it. So they started these 2 companies, Hurrdat and Open Doors. And they ended up taking open doors on their own, and they sold the Hurrdat brand to Bill Hipsher, who was like a brilliant real estate like web guy from Omaha that like really saw the vision for Hurrdat and wanted to bolt that onto his company. So that was my first day. Like I walk in and I'm like, I'm wearing my suit, and like I just like, and it's all kids that look like you guys. It's like really like high level kids that like wear what they want to wear, and like they are unapologetically who they are, and they aren't trying to like fit into this like corporate box. And I'm like, oh, this feels like right. So when I left Nelnet, I just applied at Hurrdat. I didn't know anybody there. I knew Blake and Audie like a little bit, but like I just applied there, and I'm just like, hey, this seems like a place that I want to work. And ultimately where I was going is I want to go work somewhere where I like my job. You spend the majority of your waking hours doing work with people that like you're not related to. Like, hey, if I'm going to spend 8 hours of my day, which is the majority of my waking hours, like I want to be enjoying what I'm doing. And I kept just seeing like the culture of Hurrdat and how fun it was, and like how collaborative it was, and like how they worked together and they were doing stuff that other people weren't doing. So like I just took a job there as like an entry-level salesperson, and I just fell in love with it, fell in love with the culture, fell in love with the people, like, and I knew the vision, the support that we had from executive leadership at the time was like, I get it, I understand it. And you're like, you're going to do the stuff to make sure that we're successful. And so, I mean, that was 10 years ago. Like I shoot almost to the day, like not day, but like month, like in January, it'll be 11 years. And it's one of the best decisions that I've made, because I've had the freedom to do all this like really cool stuff. And like, that's like my like 3 tenets is like make cool stuff with cool people and find somebody to pay you for it. If you can do those 3 things, you're always good. And like at Hurrdat, like that's what we're able to do. Every day I get to make cool stuff with cool people. Yesterday I was like shooting car commercials for our client Edwards Auto Group inside their dealership to like for this Jeep ad that we're going to do that's going to run during Husker games and during Chiefs games. Like that's really cool. And then like there's restaurant days. Like when we were first starting the restaurants, like we had to try like 17 different types of fries. Like that's a fun job. Like, and that's really what I wanted to do, is find somewhere where it really caters to like my ADHD and my chaos, and like turns that into a superpower versus like a deficiency. Mm-hmm. So I just stayed in there. Like I love doing sales. I love doing production. I love being on shoots. I love all of these things. And this company has afforded me to do that. Now I'm part of the executive leadership team. And like, I want to pass that on down to our younger people that are working for us. Because a lot of our folks that work for us, they're not much older than you guys. And there's a reason for that. Like, you guys are passionate, you're energetic, you know how to do stuff. Like, your generation is amazing. Like, you guys have seen every mistake that like the older generations have made. And you guys have said, we're not going to do that. We're going to find stuff that we're excited about, stuff that we're passionate about. We're going to turn it into a job, and we're going to have fun doing it. Like, I think that's so cool that you guys are doing this.
Do you ever find, like, is it ever hard, not just you, but like Hurrdat as a company, to think of like new ideas for stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the time. Like, luckily we have a lot of different people with a lot of different experience. Mm-hmm. That's, again, one of our superpowers is we have folks from all over the place. Like there's a team member on our sports video team, Kyle Byers. Like, he was in like fraud prevention at a bank, and he was doing these incredible wedding films. And he has a podcast called No Block, No Rock. It's a Husker podcast. It's hilarious. It's super fun. But he worked the Pinnacle Bank Championship with us. And he just wanted a media pass. So we gave him a media pass. He went and shot it. A couple days later, we get this crazy Netflix-style trailer for the event. And I call him. I'm like, was this like a resume that you were submitting? He's like, yeah. It's this beautiful 2-minute video. And that's all I needed to see. Like, we brought him onto our team, and now he's one of our senior level video guys that does cool stuff. So like, on paper, you're like, oh, you're in fraud prevention and you do wedding videos. Like, how does this translate into like high level like sports like cinematography? And it's perfect. And he's one of like our leaders on the team. He's super valuable. He makes really good decisions. He coaches up his team. Like, so like, by having a lot of these individuals that have a lot of different experience, and like also giving them the freedom to like have fun and play and be creative in here. That's how we solve problems. But yeah, it is tough to come up with ideas sometimes. And sometimes you come up with one and you're like, oh, somebody else already did that. Mm-hmm. There's so much content that's being pushed out right now. It's hard to stay kind of ahead of that. But in like Lincoln and Omaha, we've made investments in where other people aren't making those investments. That's high level video production, like really nice cameras that can upload quickly. Cloud stuff where we can like be editing on different machines, even if we're in different cities. We've made those investments so we can be quicker, faster, better by putting this content out. But yeah, like every day we have to find out how we can stay ahead of the game and make sure that our content feels fresh and fun to our audience.
Yeah. We struggle sometimes trying to think of ideas.
Well, yeah, and sometimes you don't get the best involvement with the school because, you know, they're high school kids and they just don't care or whatever. So it's hard to get involvement and find new things and try to get the trends like when they're at their peak instead of when they're on their decline. That's what I feel like is the hardest.
And we don't really have anything around us for us to like see the trends that are happening besides like social media, but we can't have our phones here, so then we can't like look.
Oh, yeah, that phone rule.
So, yeah.
Just make your own stuff. I know we were talking about it like before, but whatever you're passionate about, there's a billion other people that are also passionate about that thing. And it doesn't matter how small and like whatever it is, like there is an audience that is out there for the thing that you're into. Even if you think it is so specific and so niche and so like goofy, there's an audience out there that will like be excited about that. And like the trends, you're 100% right. They are waves. They come up and like they crest and then they're gone. Like I still don't understand the 6'7" thing, and I feel like that's gonna like at some point kind of round off.
I feel like it's a little bit on its decline right now. Not for Reagan.
I
Reagan,
say it like every day.
and she's gotten Willie to say it like every day as well. So that's nice.
But like they go up and they go down.
Yeah.
And it's to like what we were talking about earlier. It's like don't try to ride that. Like do your own thing. Like there's definitely some trends like, hey, there's trending audios and we can put our own spin on it and we can do that. Like, but as far as like trends, just make stuff that you like. That's where all these trends started. There's no corporation saying like, hey guys, like this is the trend for the week. We're all doing 6'7". Let's make sure that we're using it in these use cases. And then, make sure that like, everybody's using it this way. There's no like book to like figure this stuff out. It's all just like enthusiasm, excitement, and then just folks that are getting excited. I know I make big hands. Sorry.
Do you pay attention to your guys' like views a lot? Like, is that a thing that you guys look at a lot?
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes I don't like to look at our views because I don't want to pay attention to how many get. Because like there's some podcasts where I'm like, I really liked that podcast. Like I think I did really good, and then I look and it's like 50 views, and I'm like, oh, apparently nobody else thought that.
Okay, so there's different ways to look at the data. So your views. Never get bummed out about your views, because if you're like that's 50 people, like, and you could be looking at accounts that have 1 million people that are like seeing their stuff, but like how engaged were they? The 50 people that you guys are getting are probably pretty specific. They're probably your friends. They're probably your neighbors. They're probably people like that. Like the algorithm is serving this up to. And it's really just a numbers game of like putting out content, seeing what works, and then just finding stuff that you like to make. So we pay attention to views for a couple things. Like one, we have sponsors that we have to report to. So if they're putting their name on a piece of content, we report that back to them and say, hey, we got 5 million views on these pieces of content. This over-delivered in this way because we thought we were going to get 1 million on it. So they get a report and they can see like how much their investment was worth. Because we work on, you guys talk about like CPMs at all?
No.
So CPMs, it's Roman numeral for 1,000, the M. It's very silly. So CPM is like how much like brands will pay for every 1,000 views that you get. So like sometimes that's $15, sometimes it's $8, sometimes it's $20. It's like whatever. So like we report back to folks and say like, hey, this is the CPM that you got. You spent X amount of dollars. We got this many views. So this is what your CPM shakes out to. The lower that CPM number is, like the more valuable their investment was. So if it's like $4 CPMs, like that's great. We love to like report that. And then we also like to just know for our case, like, hey, is our content like hitting the mark? And it always isn't just like numbers, because you can fake that. You can buy that. You can buy views. You can buy followers. Like you can buy all that stuff. We want to see is like, all right, for car buyers that are in the Omaha metro area, how many people did we reach in our target demographic of people that might be looking for cars? So we do pay attention to it. If you're just making content like that doesn't have like deliverables and like doesn't have like something that you have to report back to a sponsor or a client, like just make the stuff. Like figure out what works, like find out what's repeatable, find out what you guys like to make, and just keep making that stuff. And then deliverables, like, yeah, let's make sure that we deliver on what we said that we're going to deliver. And, you know, we quote people out on like, hey, these are realistic numbers that you're going to see from this type of content that we're going to put out there. But yeah, we look at them quite a bit. We have a whole data scientist that really like dives in and like helps us understand like where this is. And there's also like a crazy science to it about like, we're always like A/B testing, especially with like YouTube covers. Like, you know, if her face is like, versus like, you know, like scared or like nervous, like whatever. Like they're like, we try to test those out and figure out which one works better. So yeah, there's a lot of like artist and like data-y to it.
Yeah, we did do a short one time for our podcast with Spatansky. And it was like talking about how like we set up the fire alarms. And I feel like because of that short, we got a lot more views on that podcast.
Yeah.
We need to do more of those shorts because I feel like
We're just busy.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask us to make things throughout the school, which we're fine with, but then we don't get to get to some of the projects that we want to do.
yeah, but
That
we're
never gets
trying.
any easier.
Yeah.
Like you always want more time to like make stuff.
Yeah.
Especially podcasts. I mean, this is a really like, I mean, how long we've sat here for, but we've just harvested a lot of like content that we can make into shorts. And the way that you guys have this set up, like this is really easy to like chop up and like put, and there's a ton of apps, there's a ton of things that can help you kind of like do this quicker, faster. And that's where we've had to like invest into like some software and some other things to like, hey, how do we get the most out of this thing? I mean, it's like an old Native American adage is like, hey, using every part of the buffalo. Like they were notorious for making sure like, hey, we're going to use the horns for this. We're going to use the hide for this. We're going to use the meat for this. We're going to use the bones for this. Everything gets used. And if we can cross apply that to like what we're doing in here, it's like, hey, we spent time. You guys spent your time. Everybody in here spent their time. Like, let's make the most out of like what we made here. So like, let's get some shorts out of this. Just figuring out a way that you can make that the most efficient way that you can.
yeah. So do you have any final thing you would like to say to watchers, us, anyone?
You guys are amazing. Like walking in here is just the coolest thing that I've seen. And I couldn't be more proud about being like a Bulldog and being from North Platte. Again, I'm fiercely proud of like being a product of public schools, especially in this town, especially in this community. Like my dad was, he was a dean out at Mid Plains Community College and like really hit home like how important it is for like being educated and making sure that people like have these opportunities. And like community college is beautiful too. Like you get, hey, you can go learn a bunch of like really cool skills in community college. And then if you want to go on to a bigger university, you can, or you can just take a couple little classes like small engine repair out there and learn some skills. So I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. This is so cool to be able to sit here. I'm honored to be a Bulldog. And if you guys ever need anything, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much for
Yes,
coming
thank
on
you.
and talking with us today and talking with us tomorrow. I can't wait.
And teaching all the other classes.
Yeah. Thank you
Awesome.
so much. All right.
Thank you guys.
See you guys next time,
Bye.
Bulldog Banter.